Hi, everyone. I wanted to do something a little bit different this time around and create a sample pack, or in this case, kind of a drum rack inside of Ableton. I use this little kalimba that I got from Guitar Center, like used. It's all scuffed and beat up. I uh, I sampled this. I sampled the nine tines on here, and then I also did a couple extra things as well. I've used this by itself in a couple songs that I've written, probably within the last year or so, kind of on and off, just kind of almost as a percussive, just to sit in the background. I usually just tune it so it works well. But the reason why I like this is because it's very, very hard to tune, so it's not perfect. And I think that that actually gives a lot more charm to it. Like I was sitting here for probably an hour one day with my pliers, which are over there, and just like pulling these little tines in and out and trying to get everything close enough. And I think there's a little bit of correction inside the drum rack as well. So I'm just gonna go through these real quick, and I'll show you what exactly everything does. Now, the first thing is the nine tines, which I kind of tuned to a scale, but there's some weird notes in there for some interesting harmonic stuff. So we can go like this. So those are all super cool. You can make some. So you can make some interesting stuff like that. I also recorded just kind of the internal resonance because this is actually a chamber inside here. So there's a chamber here, which I think initially is meant you could like hold it against your chest so you can kind of like create a warbling effect with it. But I just think that it sounds like a seashell in there, especially when you just kind of rub your finger across the top here. It creates this really cool. I really love this sound right here. And then the last six notes that I had, I created just some basic percussive stuff. I have kind of this clacking sound, and then some tapping, just kind of knocking on the side, and then a scraping sound, just rubbing my hand across the top of it. So there's some interesting sounds going on there as well. But the real meat and potatoes is all the dials that I created here. So the first thing I wanted to mention is this pluck and hammer thing. So I initially plucked it with my finger, and then I also took a rubber mallet and I also recorded all nine tines with the impact of that mallet. So if you bring this over to the other side, you get a different sound. And now if you listen to it like... The transient, the actual hit is a lot different because you're bouncing a mallet off of it rather than like rubbing your thumb or your finger across it. Excuse me. So that's super cool. I have the release here, so if you don't want it to terminate when you let go of the button, you can raise the release. So that's super cool. I'll get back to the Padify in a second because that one's really neat. I'd put it at the end, but that would break my nice little setup with colors here. So the juice setting here basically gives it a little bit of erosion, gives it some overdrive and some compression. It basically kind of just juices up the sound. So it still sounds natural, but it actually sounds a little bit more processed, which I really like. So this is without the juice, and this is with the juice. So that erosion gives it a little bit higher pitch, kind of just a little bit extra ring to it. And I really love that sound. I think it's super cool. Down here I have a couple basic effects. You can set up a delay, which is super cool. And then just the reverb decay. So you can set up a basic reverb. And then over here, I actually have an extra little bonus dial here for the resonance tone because the resonance is super cool. I like the idea of having this as almost like a hip hop or trip hop background, so you can like kind of stutter it and. because it has this really cool chord feeling to it. And if you kind of move that chord as a whole, you get this interesting flow to the rhythm and the chords. And you're going to have to kind of automate that. There's no real way to do that manually. I was like typing in the numbers while I was hitting the buttons, which is not ideal. And finally, okay, so this Padify changes basically everything about this whole thing. It creates, it gives all of these an attack. It has another whole series of effects over here, and it just changes the whole sound. So if we turn that on, the percussive stuff sounds kind of weird with the Padify on. I might try to change that before this comes out, because that's something that really kind of bothers me. But yeah, so it changes the entire sound to something completely different, and I love pads, especially when you get these kind of organic sounding pads that are very lush and rich. I think that you can do a whole ton of really cool stuff with that. So this is like really the first pack that I've ever made, and if you want to download it and install it, the instructions are going to be in the description below. I'm actually really proud of this. I think it's super cool, and I've been thinking about sampling this Kalimba for a very long time, just because it has a really cool sound and it's a pain in the ass to tune. So just having something available where I can just kind of bang out a couple things really simply, I think that's really going to be helpful for me and hopefully for you too. So if you like this idea, if you like this video, please click the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already, because I'm going to be doing a lot more of this stuff in the future. I don't know how frequently I'll be putting these packs out, but it's something that I definitely want to do on a more regular basis, because I think that they're super fun. And I was inspired to do this after talking with Afro DJ Mac, who is a Ableton certified trainer. He's a super cool guy who used to release an Ableton pack every week, which sounds crazy. Like, I put a ton of work into this. So I was inspired by him to do this because I think that it's a good way to not only learn the software better, but actually kind of build this arsenal of presets that are very, very unique and are that I can just kind of pick up and use if I need something that's a little bit different. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.